Hello Year 11. Today we are going to be focusing on how we can really refine our answers to the describe questions. These appear on all three of the papers that you've looked at. So they are on the medicine paper, they're on the USA paper, they are also on the Germany paper, but it looks slightly different because you've got a source as well. But we're going to look at it in this case anyway, because it's really useful to be able to think about what key points of information you would include. So these are generally 4 or 5 mark questions, and they require you to really quickly be able to think about what information you're going to include. So today you're going to do some cherry picking, and this will allow you to focus on maybe 3 or 4 potential points that are relevant to the types of question. So you're going to note these down, and then hopefully you can use it in part of your memorization. I'm going to show you some examples, and then I'm going to leave you to it. So I've given you information, I've given you examples for Germany, for the USA, and for medicine as well. So you've got 3 different sets to do. Obviously these are not the only questions that you could possibly be asked, but they're an example of what you could be asked to make a start. So your first one here, you have described the events of the Night of the Long Knives. So you need to be able to think about 3 or 4 key bits of information that you could build on to be able to answer that question in enough detail that's going to get you the marks for that question. So if you're thinking about the Night of the Long Knives, you might like to include information perhaps on the date. You could include who it was about, so the fact that it was Hitler trying to get rid of the SA so that he could encourage the army to swear an oath of allegiance. That might be one that you might want to talk about. You could also perhaps say something about the fact that Ernst Röhm was the leader. It was a purging of rivals. You could say that Röhm was seen as a threat because he wanted to incorporate the army into the SA. There's all sorts of things that you could include. You just need to pick 4 events or 4 things that you could talk about. What I've also done is for each of the sections that I've asked you to write about today, I've included a link to GCSE Pod, so hopefully you should be able to use that to help you maybe list some key points, or I've also listed the link to the Knowledge Organiser page for Educast, so you could always have a look through there and see what things you could include. If you have any questions, make sure you message your teacher or email your teacher. You should then upload this work, so evidence of this work, to your teacher. Obviously, if you don't have a printer today, what you might need to do is just to copy out these headings, and you obviously don't have to draw the cherries. You could just draw or bullet point 4 different things underneath. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it could be if you want it to be. So if you have any questions, give us a shout, and good luck.